Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all well. So in today's video, as you guys can see from the title below, I will be showing you guys how I made this really cute off the shoulder bandeau top with a drawstring through the middle. I made it out of this yellow turtleneck that I thrifted a while back. You guys know I'm obsessed with mustard yellow and I just wasn't feeling this top. It was super boring, so I decided to switch up for you guys. The original inspiration is from these tops that I've been seeing floating around the interweb everywhere recently, and I just liked the design. I thought it was a really nice concept. So to begin off with, I started by doing a quick little sketch just so I could have a brief idea of what I wanted my top to look like, and also the color concept and the dimensions for the back and the front and the sleeves. So I knew I wanted to detach the sleeves from the original top, and then I was going to make two rectangles, one for the back of my back and one for the front and my bust. And then for the front, I'm just going to add 1 inch extra to the measurement, as we are going to fold this piece in half and cut down the middle, so it's 1/2 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other side. Once I was done doing that, I just took my top and started off by detaching the two sleeves on either side of the top with my seam ripper. And once I was done doing that, I just took the whole center part of my top, and I'm just going to take 1/2 of it and cut along the back in order to make the back piece of my top, and then I'm going to take the other half and repeat the same step. Then taking my back piece, I'm just folding it in half like so, then taking the measurement I did for my back and halving that, and then I'm just lining it up with the fold and pinning along my line, and then I'm just going to take my ruler and mark with my tailor's chalk and then cut along this line. Then I just folded it again to mark how long I wanted my top to be, and I think I decided to make about 9.5 inches. So I'm just marking along the bottom of where I want to cut with my chalk again, and then I'm just going to make a line with my ruler and cut off the excess fabric. Then I just repeated the same step I did with the back piece for the front with the other half of the top. So once I was done with the front and the back and I was happy with the sizing for both, I just took my front piece and cut down the center middle like so in order to create a little drawstring detail in the front. So I'm just taking my scissors and cutting along the center line that I folded. Then I'm just unpinning all of my pieces and open up my back piece like so, and then I'm going to take the two front pieces and line them up on either side of my back piece in order to sew down the sides. Before I sewed down the sides, I left a 2.5-inch gap at the top of my top in order to insert my sleeve. The reason why it's 2.5 is because that is the measurement underneath my armpit from end to end, and obviously that's half of the measurement, so it's 2.5 on one side and 2.5 on the other side. Once I was done sewing down the sides, I'm just taking my top again and I'm going to insert my sleeve. I also seam ripped 2.5 inches down the sleeve in order to insert it so the lines will match up. So I'm inserting it as if it was a normal sleeve, but obviously it is half of it, and then I'm just lining up the two sides and pinning all the way along my arch. So once I was done sewing in my sleeves, I just went to the two front halves of my top and I'm just hemming my 1/2 inch on both sides of my top in order to create the tunnels for my drawstring. So once I hemmed both sides, I was actually supposed to just sandwich them together, then fold over like so with the process I'm doing now. But before I sandwiched the two pieces together, I actually ended up folding over the tunnel that I actually wanted. It wasn't the process that I wanted to do, but it was completely fine because I felt like it made the center spine of the top stronger, as obviously the drawstring is pulling on the fabric, and I felt like if I didn't do it this way, which was actually my mistake way, it probably would have made the center more flimsy. But yeah, I'm just folding it over again in order to create my tunnel. And then once I'm done doing this, I'm going to sandwich the two together and sew down the line of the center. So I'm just getting my two pieces like so, and then sandwich them on top of each other, and then just getting my pins and pinning just next to the line that I created for my tunnel, and that's the line that I'm going to sew down. Then once I'm done doing that, I'm going to open up the two flaps that I sandwiched together, and I'm going to sew down the outside of both sides of the rectangles, and that is my tunnels done. Then once I was done with that, I made two extra rectangles in order to make my sleeves longer. As you guys know, I cut the sleeves away from the top and the sleeves were really short and I wanted to make them longer. If you guys have watched my previous video, I did a similar technique where I just add some more fabric to the sleeves, so that's just what I'm doing here, and I'm just going to sew down the sides. So once I was done with my sleeves, I'm just going to turn it inside out, and then I'm going to just tunnel it through my existing sleeve like so. So I'm just going to put my hand through, and then I'm going to put my new sleeve on top of my existing sleeve like so, and then I'm going to pin along this circle and sew. Then in order to make the drawstring for my top, I just took the existing fabric that I had left over from the top half of my turtleneck, and then I'm just folding over about 1/2 inch or an inch long rectangle, and then I'm just cutting like so, and this is going to be our little string that I'm going to put through my tunnel. And then once I was done with my string, in order to turn it right sides together, I just took a safety pin and pinned it at the top of the tunnel, and then I basically feeding it back down through the other end. You can also use a little tool, I think it's called a hook eye tool, in order to turn really fiddly thin materials inside out, but because I don't have that, this is the easiest way to do it. So you just have to keep pulling and pulling and pulling until you can get all your fabric through the other end, and then once you're finished, you will have it right sides together. So once I had done that, all I had left to do now was my notorious lettuce hem. I love doing this on basically anything. You guys have seen basically this technique in another tutorial if you guys have watched that. But what I'm going to do is put my sewing machine on a zigzag stitch and sew all along the top shoulder hem of my top. If you haven't seen my previous tutorial of me doing this technique, the gist of it is basically pulling and stretching at the same time as the zigzag is going across the hem. This fabric is ideal since it's a ribbed jersey material and makes for a really pretty lettuce hem. So once I was done doing that, all I had left to do was insert my drawstring that I made earlier. So again, I'm going to take my safety pin and attach it to the end of the drawstring, and then I'm just going to feed it through the tunnels through the back of the top. So I'm just going to go down and then all the way up and then go over and then back down again through the other side. So once I was done doing that, I was finished with my top. So that is my video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I really appreciate you guys who have stuck around. I know it's been a minute since I've done a fashion fix video, but I've just still been transitioning into my new studio. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Peace.